Hi guys, I'm going to answer the exit ticket questions this evening. That's Lucy. She's helping us out tonight. So in 1.6, I was asked if all the homework is posted. Yep, all the homework for the entire semester is posted. Will we have to memorize the prefix? Yes, you should have all of those memorized for the quiz on Monday. Sorry, I'm going to adjust here. Depending on the order, couldn't you just subtract the exponents? Yes, instead of plugging them in your calculator, if you understand how to add or subtract them, that works as well. What is the difference between heat capacity, melting point, and boiling point? MP, or melting point, is the temperature that something melts at. So for ice, that's 0 degrees. And boiling point is the temperature that it boils at, which is, for water, 100 degrees. Heat capacity is how much energy you would have to put into the ice to get it to melt, or into the water to get it to boil, and that's going to change based on how much water or ice you have. How to plug in the equation to calculate to get the exponent. So this is using that EE button or EXP button. I'm also going to post a link to Tyler DeWitt's videos on YouTube. He has some great videos, and he has two different playlists that I'm going to recommend. One is on, let's see, it's called Unit Conversion, and the other one's called Significant Figures. And I think there's maybe 6 videos in each playlist, but they would be great for this quiz. Do we have to memorize the exponents? Yep, we talked about that. This is another one about the melting point and boiling point. The melting point and boiling point are both intensive properties because they don't depend on the amount, whereas the heat capacity is an extensive property because it's going to change based on how much we have. This one says, how do we use the chart? And it's referring to section 1.8, so I'm guessing it's the charts that are on that yellow page that I gave you. Again, that link's going to help. I'm going to give you any conversion factor that's not metric for the quiz. You should be able to use the chart that's on the bottom right-hand corner, so the metric prefixes. So I can't quite answer this one verbally. I'm going to refer you to the video, I'm going to refer you to your notes, refer you to the book. But if you have a specific question on that, feel free to text me or email me. How do I know what set up the question? I'm guessing that's supposed to be, how do I know how to set up the question? So this is when we come up with our pathway or our plan. You figure out what unit you're given. You figure out what unit to end with. There's not one right answer. You have to find the connection to go from one unit to the other. It might be one conversion factor, if you can find a direct connection, or it might be multiple conversion factors. You just have to find the connection between those two. Okay, this one says, this is a long question. Okay, let's say you want to convert inches to miles. How do you know the order to get there? Oh, so that's what we just talked about. And hopefully the video from Tyler will help as well. How do you know how many sig figs for the answer? Well, it depends on what type of math you're doing. If you're doing multiplication or division, it's going to be based on the significant figures you started with. And if you're doing addition or subtraction, it's based on the number of decimal places you started with. And yes, I'm using my dog as a small podium. Finding, okay, let's see, we just talked about that one. The leading, interior, and trailing zeros, still confused. So leading zeros are never significant. Interior zeros are always significant. Trailing zeros after a decimal place, or if there is a decimal place, are significant. And trailing zeros without a decimal place are never significant. Unfortunately, there's not a nice, easy way for those. It's just something you have to memorize. Be a great flashcard topic. Also, just the more practice problems you do, the better. Why don't we look at sig figs when doing adding and subtracting? Well, we kind of do. We look at the decimal places. The decimal places are representing how precise the number is, and so that's what we're using to keep our answer to the same level of precision. What is an easy way to remember solving when you have an equation like 7 minus 4 divided by 2? There's not an easy way. You just have to practice it. Taking shortcuts with these is not going to help you remember them. You gotta make those little pathways in your brain. And how do you find sigfigs in equations? Well, again, we just talked about that one, and hopefully those videos will also help you. Hopefully working on the homework is giving you more practice and helping you out too. But those were all my questions for tonight. So me and Lucy are saying goodnight for the night. All right, I will see you guys on Monday. Email me or text me over the weekend if you have more questions.